In today's class, we're going to be doing a reintroduction to abdominal work, specifically forward flexion. When we do forward flexion, there's a lot of intra-abdominal pressure that we build up in the body. That's why it is so important to know your pelvic floor breath. This class, for that reason, because we are gathering up all that pelvic floor activation to manage that intra-abdominal pressure, this class falls under two categories, the postpartum and the restorative. I myself am 5 months postpartum. I'm ready to start adding that forward flexion, that heavy loaded flexion into my work. So I'm going to take you with me on this journey of this class, how we're going to reincorporate it. I've spoken about this before and I'm going to reiterate it again, pelvic floor breath. We're going to be looking at it again on the mat. If you are still working on this concept, please refer to the classes in both the postpartum and restorative collections that talk about this. It really is key to being able to safely do that forward flexion work without blowing out that pelvic floor. Come join me on the mat, and I'm very excited to be doing this class with you today. All right, we're going to begin again at the very beginning with the pelvic floor breath. This is going to be a quick review because if you are joining me for this video, it is going to be assumed that you have done the postpartum videos or you have done the restorative videos that talk about pelvic floor breath and proper pelvic floor activation. I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about this, but when we do forward flexion work, we're adding load to the body. That is creating a lot of intra-abdominal pressure that we need to manage. The way to manage that is through the pelvic floor breath. If we're not managing that work properly, it can lead to leaking, like incontinence issues, or aggravating prolapses potentially, and we do not want to do that. So, again, if you are postpartum, this is a great reintroduction to abdominal work. If you're doing any sort of core rebuilding, this is a great class to come to reintroduce yourself, rediscover the abdominal work safely and effectively. Quick pelvic floor breath review, because I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, but very important. So if we are thinking of the base of our pelvis like the face of a clock, we've got 12 o'clock at the pubic bone, 6 o'clock at the tailbone, and 3 and 9 o'clock at those two sit bones. We are going to take a breath in and envision that clock spreading wide. And as we exhale, we're going to pull the numbers of the clock in and up through the center. Inhale, allowing it to open. Exhale, pulling in and up. Now, my pelvis is not shifting on this. As I exhale, I'm not squeezing my bum or jamming my back into the mat. I'm trying to maintain ease through my low back. So I really just feel like the core, the tummy muscles are wrapping around my center. One more time here. Inhale to widen and exhale to come back up. We're going to move into something called head nods. So in the similar way that finding that pelvic floor breath helps to support and prepare our body for that forward flexion, head nods help to prepare the head to be taken off of the floor. And heads are very heavy. So we are working with our skull hinge, which is where our head, our skull, meets our spine. And the way that we do this little movement is we look right up toward the ceiling. And I'm going to let my eyes lead the movement. So I start to let my eyes tip downward, and my chin is just going to gently follow that. It's not going to jam into my chest, but it's just going to nod gently forward. And then I'm going to look back up toward the ceiling, leading with the eyes, and the chin will naturally lift as well. So the eyes begin to lower, the chin gently tips. The eyes come back to center, and the chin gently lifts. It is a very small movement. And if you start to feel a little nauseated while you do this, that's not uncommon. So please stop if it's feeling a little oogie in your body. We're just going to do a couple more of these. And this is going to be an important movement to do when we get into the ab curls, which we're about to get into. 2 more. Letting the eyes look down, letting the chin gently tip, letting the eyes look up. One last time here. Eyes looking down, the chin gently tipping. and then the eyes looking up and the chin gently lifting. It is a very small movement. We're going to get into ab curls. If you feel any pressure on the pelvic floor, any leaking, any discomfort down there, stop. Please see a pelvic floor physiotherapist, get yourself assessed, review the classes before this that look at pelvic floor engagement. It might be that you're not quite ready yet for this class, okay? Listen to your body, please. Hands are gonna come behind the head. On my exhale, I start to tip my head forward, pull up through that clock face, drawing up through those abdominals as I lift my head to just the base of my shoulders. And then I'm going to inhale and come back down. Exhale, the eyes tip forward, the chin tips. I start to lift the head, pull up through that pelvic floor as I curl up. And then come back down. So like I said, we're getting right into it today. You want to link the movement of the ab curl with the breath and the head nod. So there's a lot happening here. Exhale, pelvic floor, head nod, curling up to the base of the ribs, the base of the shoulder blades. We're not going higher than that. We're gonna do 4 more here. Exhale, pelvic floor, tipping the head, curling up on that exhale. Inhale, back down. Exhale, pelvic floor, pulling in and up, curling up, and back down. 2 more, exhale. Again, working hard here not to jam my back into the mat as I lift my upper body. So as I come up, I don't want to tuck my bum or jam my back down. I want to try to maintain my neutral spine. And if as you come up, you see that you're kind of pushing the belly up instead of pulling it in and around, then you may not be drawing your abdominals in as successfully as we would like for this work. So again, you can always see a pelvic floor physical therapist or a Pilates instructor where you are, if you can see them in person, and they can help to assess what's going on there. Let's do 2 more for luck. Exhaling, pulling up through that pelvic floor, coming up, trying to maintain that tightness in the abdominals. Last one, pelvic floor pulling in, head nodding, curling up from there and down. We're gonna add in a little bit of extra work here. Taking a breath in, on my exhale, I bring my leg to tabletop. Doesn't matter which leg. As I exhale and curl up, I'm gonna keep that leg in tabletop and coming back down. So feeling what that's like. Exhale, pulling through the pelvic floor, curling up. Right away, I notice I don't come up as high. I don't come up as high in my ab curl. That's okay. I'm still curling to about the middle of my shoulder blades, lifting my rib cage up and down. And I'm going to do this one last time, and we're going to add again, exhaling up and down. Now, I'm going to add a toe tap in. So curling up, and I'm going to toe tap and lift the leg back up. Exhale, pull through the pelvic floor, curling up and down. And I want to think that I'm curling up and over something. So there's negative space here that I'm curling around. So I'm not just kind of sinking in my rib cage. I'm not jamming my chin into my chest. But I have this idea that I'm lengthening up and around. One more time, exhaling. Inhaling down. I'm going to lower my leg down and just reach my arms out in front of me or to my side, just give them a shake. It's a lot to have the arms behind the head. We're going to do the other side now. Taking a breath in, on my exhale, bring my other leg to tabletop. Breath in, keep the leg where it is as I pull it through the pelvic floor, exhaling as I lift, inhale back. Exhale, pull through the pelvic floor, deepening those abdominals, and back. Still doing my little head nod, just to start that movement. 3 more. 3. Exhaling, curling up for 2. Exhale, curl up. We're going to add the toe tap in here. Curl up, toe tap. Inhale it back. Exhale, pull up through that pelvic floor. Inhale back. And 3. And 2. One more time here. And back. Exhale, just lower the leg down. Bring the arms down. Let's just bring the arms back behind you. Give a little stretch there, reaching out through the fingers. And bringing the arms back by your side. Okay, how are we feeling? Were you feeling any pressure down around the pelvic floor, the vagina? If you feel like you were gonna leak or pee yourself, you might not be ready for this work yet, and that is okay. Go back and do the other classes. Come back and do this class with me when you're ready. We're gonna do obliques now. So this is a rotation through the spine. The feet stay down, the hands come behind the head. I'm gonna imagine that I'm folding my right shoulder toward my left hip. So I'm a beautiful piece of origami paper. As I come up, I'm gonna curl up through center, then I'm going to rotate and fold my shoulder to my hip. Rotate back to center and come back down. Little head nod, exhale as I curl up and rotate. And now I'm gonna reach my arm across like I wanna shake somebody's hand. That's how I ensure my rotation. Hand is gonna come back behind the head as I bring my head back down. Curl up through center, rotate head, collarbone, reach, shake somebody's hand, and back down. In a time of COVID, can we shake people's hands still? Is it just fist bumps now? I don't know. And come back down. I hope we can get back to a place where we shake people's hands. Curl up, reach, rotate, shake the hand, and back down. One more time like this. Exhale, pulling through the pelvic floor, rotating, still breathing out, and coming back in. Now, we are going to take a breath in, and on the exhale, bring that leg up to tabletop that we're rotating towards. We're gonna keep the hands behind the head, curling up through center, rotating toward that leg, and then back. Exhale, pelvic floor, curl up and rotate, and back. Feel how this is different than when the feet were on the floor. Exhale, rotate. You can reach the arm if you'd like, just so you're ensuring that you're getting that true and lovely rotation. One more time here. Exhale, curl. You can reach the hand if you'd like. Coming back down and lower the leg. We do this on the other side. Legs stay down to begin. Curling up through center, rotating the head, the collarbone, the rib cage. I am going to reach to hold someone's hand and then come back down. Curling up, folding my shoulder toward my hip and down. It's important to note that my pelvis is staying on the floor. I'm not lifting my pelvis off to make this movement happen. And I'm just gently lifting this shoulder, my left shoulder, just gently off of the floor as I do the rotation. One more time here, rotating and back. Then I'm gonna bring my leg on my exhale through the pelvic floor, drawing up into tabletop, curling up, rotating, reaching the hand and back down. Exhale, curl and rotate, reach and back down. Exhale, curl, rotate, reach and down. 2 more. And down. Folding that piece of origami paper. And down. One more time. And coming back down. Reach the arms up, the leg is down, and we reach the arms back behind us for a stretch. All right. So we don't only work our abdominals in flexion. We do also work them in an isometric movement where we keep the torso long. So we're going to work on that work as well. So for that, we bring our legs to tabletop. We're going to take a breath in. On the exhale, as I pull up through my pelvic floor, I'm going to bring one leg, followed by the other leg, to tabletop. You can let the low back connect to the floor a little bit here. It's called an imprint. As long as it's the abdominals drawing the spine down and you're not just pushing the bones down. From here, we're going into alternating toe taps. Breath in. Exhale, toe tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, toe tap, and lift. Exhale. I'm trying to keep my upper body pretty quiet because I really want to focus on abdominal work here. So again, if you feel that you are pooching out, you're doming up around the belly button, there might be a diastasis issue. It is worth speaking with a pelvic floor physiotherapist to have it assessed. One more time on each side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Into leg reaches. Reaching one leg out. Inhale it back. Exhale, trying to stay quiet through my upper body. Try not to grip too much to my back. If you feel grippy, send your leg higher to the ceiling. Exhaling up. That'll be a little bit easier for your back. If you want the challenge and you feel that you can maintain it, send your legs lower on an angle. But not so low that you can't support through your abdominals and you end up going into your back. One more time. And in. Float the arms up. Same series. We're going to toe taps here. Breath in to prepare. Exhale, toe tap. Inhale it up. Exhale, toe tap. Inhale it up. Feel how this is different than what we just did. If it feels too much, you feel like you're pooching the tummy, you're not pulling in anymore, bring your arms back down by your side. One more time, each side. Into leg reaches here, exhaling out, inhale it back. Exhale, deepen that pelvic floor connection, inhale it back. Exhale, inhale it back. Let's do this for 3. 2. One more set here. Last one. Coming in, lowering the arms, lowering the legs, and releasing. We come onto our side for a little bit of side planking work. So I'm going to start by placing my elbow right underneath my shoulder. My legs are at about a 45-ish degree angle. And I'm going to start by sinking into my ribs and just letting that collapse. Then what I want to do is actively press through my forearm and my hand and my elbow to lift that rib cage up and away from the floor. Coming down and pressing myself up. So what I'm doing here is I'm waking up the muscles underneath my armpit, but I'm also waking up my obliques and my lats. Exhale. Pull those obliques in. Think of that bottom rib reaching for the ceiling. Now, keep that bottom rib feeling like it's reaching up for the ceiling. We're going to go into a little bit of leg work here. So supporting, stabilizing under the armpit where you're lifting and lowering the leg, long leg. And I don't want to collapse my armpit. So I've got this beautiful mountain peak that I want to maintain. Check to make sure you don't start sinking. Push the floor away. If it's going to the neck, you can turn to the floor. 2 more leg lifts. Last one. Hold the leg up there, flex the foot, bend it in, and reach it out. So the leg work here is more just something that we're doing to challenge our stability of our obliques here. But we might as well get a little bit of leg work while we're here. Why not? 2 more. One more time, just bending the leg in and reaching it out. I'm going to take my foot down, push myself up a little bit so I'm on my mat. Leg is down, toe is tucked under, and we're going to go into a little bit of a plank here. So I'm going to bring my bottom leg in just a little bit. Hips are square, and from here, I'm going to lift this bottom hip up to the sky. So now I'm in a modified side plank, and I'm going to come down. Now this is a lot of work for my stabilizing arm, so if you need a break, please take it. Pull up through that pelvic floor, lift that bottom hip, squeeze those glutes, pull those abs, and there's a lot happening here, and down. We're gonna come up and stay on this next one. Coming up, staying up there, let's challenge ourselves with little hip dips. I'm gonna tap down and lift for 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. We've got one more exercise to go, but I know it's a lot of work to stabilize. So we're gonna go for a little bit of a stretch. We're gonna give that arm a quick break, quick little break. And then we're going right back to it. So we did our little hip dips. We're gonna come back up into our plank. And this is like a suggestion of an exercise. You can, as we press up, you can absolutely stay here. We're gonna stay here for a count of 10. If you want the extra challenge, you can lift the leg up. It is completely up to you. That's the suggestion part. Let's hold it for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. If the leg is up, bring it down, lower the hips, push yourself back up. Give that arm a break, and we're going to the other side. So, quick sideline series. The focus is on the obliques and the upper body, not so much what's happening with the legs. So, elbow right under the shoulder. Let's do our little sink and push away, lifting up underneath that armpit, drawing that bottom rib right up to the sky. And down and pushing it away. Hips are square. Pelvic floor is still pulling in and up here. We're gonna stay up on this next one. Staying up there, extending the leg out long, lower and lift that leg. Stay lifted under that armpit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bend and stretch here, flexing the foot, bend the knee in toward the chest, and stretch it out. Bend it in, stretch it out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one for 8. Let's bring that leg down and tucking the toe under. I'm just gonna tuck my bent leg in a little bit. Breath in, hips are square, lifting the hips up, holding it for a count of 5, pushing the floor actively away, really trying not to sink. For 3, 2, let's go to our little hip dips, 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more time for 6, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come down. Let's give that arm a little stretch. And then we've got that last little 10 count plank hold. All right, here we go. So you've got your suggestion where you can lift the leg if you want. Check your starting position. You want to make sure that the elbow is under the shoulder or just a little bit outside of the shoulder, because when you come up, you'll come over the shoulder. Leg is tucked in. Here we go. We're lifting for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg if it is up. Lower the hip. Come up and stretch. All right, so we looked at forward flexion with the upper body. We looked at isometric, stabilizing the torso, both on our back and on our side. We're gonna look at some half rollbacks now. So this is flexion of the lumbar spine, our low back. And we're going to do our half rollbacks. If you did the postpartum series or you've been doing the restorative series, we do this quite a bit. You want to think of your pelvis like a wheel. And my hands are going to come behind my knees and we're going to build on it. What we're going to do here is let the tailbone lead the rolling of the wheel here. So breath in. On my exhale, roll the tailbone under you. Let it roll toward the pubic bone. So I've rolled off of my sit bones, and this is about as far as I'm gonna go. Breath in, and then I'm gonna reverse my wheel. I wanna think of my pubic bone rolling toward the floor, my tailbone rolling itself free, and I'm getting tall through the back of my lumbar and sacrum. Here we go. So leading from my tailbone, letting it roll under me. Breath in, exhale as I roll back up, nice and tall. And again, exhale, rolling through that low back, staying open through the chest so there's no collapsing, rolling myself back up. One more time like this, scooping through the tummy muscles, rolling. Breath in, exhale, and up. Let's reach the arms out. It's going to be harder here. Keeping the shoulders nice and centered, we're going to scoop the tummy muscles and come in. And then exhale, roll yourself back up. And again, let the tailbone lead the way as it rolls down underneath you toward the pubic bone. Breath in. Exhale, roll that pubic bone back toward the floor. Free the tailbone from underneath the body. And two more like this, scooping. Feel how it's different than when we had our arms behind our legs. A lot more work is happening. Still pulling up through that pelvic floor as I do this work. And up. We're going to build on it again. So I'm scooping through those low tummy muscles and I'm going to hold it here. Inhale the arms up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale. Two more. And down, keeping the scoop again, and down. Take a breath in, and exhale, roll yourself back up. Feel like someone's pulling the back of your yoga pants up to get to the top of those sits bones. Give your legs a shake. I know it can get into the hip flexors, so just give your legs a little shaky shake. All right. We're gonna continue, but we're gonna go into rotational movement from here. So arms are out. I'm going to let the tailbone roll underneath me as I pull up through that pelvic floor. Lifting my arms up overhead, I'm adding more load. Managing that pelvic floor, drawing in the breath. Exhale, rotate toward the screen. Inhale back to center. Exhale the other direction. Inhale to center, keep the scoop. Pull up through the pelvic floor, rotate toward the camera or toward the screen. And last time away, back to center, bringing the arms down and starting to exhale, rolling myself back up. Harder, right? We're adding more load to manage. We're gonna go into a more fluid oblique now. For this is the last half roll back exercise. Taking a breath in, pulling through that pelvic floor as I let the tailbone roll underneath me. From here, I'm gonna make figure eights with my arms and I'm gonna rotate with that figure eight. So you can imagine that you're kayaking or you're creating an infinity sign. Head, collarbone, rib cage. Exhale, inhale as you cross the body. Exhale. Two more. Still drawing up through that pelvic floor. We're gonna come back to center, take a breath in. Exhale, coming up. All right, how are you feeling? Again, we are building more and more into managing that intra-abdominal pressure. So it's really important to get that pelvic floor breath. If again, you feel like you're leaking or it's not movement that you can sustain right now, that's fine. See a pelvic floor physio, go back and do the videos and come back and do this class. We have one more little series to do and it is on our hands and knees. So when you do hands and knees work, these are modified planks that we're doing. If we're doing a reintroduction to ab work, we're not gonna walk out to a full plank right away and expect to hold it. We need to build up to it. So we're gonna start with our swim breath. I'm gonna take a breath in. On my exhale, I'm gonna reach my opposite arm and leg out. So I've got my right arm and my left leg out. My hips are square. And this is a modified plank. I'm pulling the abdominals in and maintaining an isometric engagement of my abdominals and core. And then we're going to come in. And we're going to go to the other side. Breath in. Exhale, pulling up through the pelvic floor, reaching out. Trying not to sink into my supporting leg. Being tall through the inner thigh. Holding that modified plank. 3, 2, 1, and coming back in. We're going to add on to our modified plank. Take a breath in, go back to the first side, reach it out. Keep the arm where it is, lower and lift the leg for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it for 5, 4. Pull it up through pelvic floor. I know it's a little harder to feel here, but you still want to get that breath. So this is an example of where the pelvic floor has to maintain a bit of engagement the entire way through. You can't let it go to nothing on the inhale because then we'll lose all of our abdominal support. We're going to go to the other side, reaching out. So even though I'm inhaling and exhaling, I'm maintaining my pelvic floor breath. I'm maintaining the abdominal connection around my center. I'm going to lower and tap down and lift for 6. Exhale, 5. I just deepen that pelvic floor connection on every exhale. 2 more. 1 more, holding that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and coming in. Final little exercise here. We're going to keep the hands down for this. And what I'm going to do is my leg close to the camera. I'm going to inhale and slide it out, but I'm going to keep the top of my foot connected to the floor. On my exhale, I'm going to bend and pull the leg back in. Inhale out. Exhale to pull the leg back. So this is a nice way to get some deeper abdominal engagement. Hopefully you can feel what it's like to pull that leg in those low abs. 1 more time here. And down. Other side. Not sinking in your hip. Inhaling out. Exhale to come back in. Maintain the neutral spine. So really trying not to tuck the bum under, but use that pelvic floor breath to pull the leg back in. 2 more. One more time. And down. Good, just push yourself back. Breathe. Start to roll yourself up through the spine. And there you have it, a reintroduction to abdominal work. I hope that you enjoyed today's class and that doing this work felt manageable for you. It felt like you could sustain and maintain that pelvic floor activation, managing that intra-abdominal pressure, and therefore allowing you to start to move forward in your Pilates journey and in really any fitness journey that you are doing for yourself right now, because this work will help you in all of the activities that you love to do. Thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.